Today, connecting to the internet feels effortless. Your laptop, phone, and smart devices all communicate instantly. But long before Wi-Fi and cloud computing, someone had to build the technology that allowed computers to talk to each other in the first place. One of the companies responsible for that was 3Com. In the 1980s and 1990s, their networking technology powered offices, universities, and early internet connections around the world. At one point, they were one of the most important networking companies on the planet, and yet today, almost no one remembers them. So how did a company that helped build the modern internet quietly disappear from the tech world? That's the story we're about to uncover. The beginning of computer networking. 3Com was founded in 1979 by Robert Metcalfe. Metcalfe wasn't just another entrepreneur, he was one of the inventors of Ethernet, the networking technology that allows computers to communicate over a local network. Ethernet was originally developed at the legendary research lab Xerox PARC, where many groundbreaking technologies were created. Metcalfe saw something big. As personal computers began appearing in offices, businesses would soon need a way for those machines to share data and communicate. So he founded 3Com, short for Computer Communication Compatibility. The company's mission was simple but powerful: build the technology that would allow computers to talk to each other, building the networking revolution. In the 1980s, personal computers were spreading rapidly through offices. But there was a major limitation. Most computers were isolated machines. They couldn't easily share files, printers, or information. That's where 3Com came in. The company developed network interface cards, often called NICs. These cards allowed computers to connect to Ethernet networks. If a business wanted to build a local network connecting dozens, or even hundreds of computers, there was a good chance 3Com hardware was involved. Their networking equipment became extremely popular in corporate environments. Throughout the 1980s, 3Com expanded rapidly. They introduced Ethernet adapters, network hubs, and switches software for managing networks. By the early 1990s, 3Com had become one of the leading networking companies in the world. The golden era, 3Com at its peak. During the 1990s, computer networking exploded. Businesses were connecting computers within offices, universities were connecting campuses, and eventually, networks began connecting to the internet. 3Com was right at the center of this revolution. Their Ethernet cards were widely used in PCs, and their networking hardware powered many corporate networks. But 3Com didn't stop there. They made a huge move by acquiring US Robotics in 1997. US Robotics was famous for producing dial-up modems, which allowed home users to connect to the internet through telephone lines. If you used the internet in the 1990s, there's a good chance you used a modem made by US Robotics. This acquisition gave 3Com access to a massive consumer market. At its peak, 3Com was a major force in both corporate networking and home internet connectivity. It seemed like the company was perfectly positioned for the internet boom, but cracks were already forming. Competition intensifies. As the internet grew, networking became one of the most important sectors in technology, and new competitors began emerging. One of the biggest was Cisco Systems. Cisco focused heavily on enterprise networking equipment, particularly routers and switches used to power the expanding internet. While 3Com was successful, Cisco moved aggressively into high-end networking infrastructure. They targeted telecom providers, large corporations, and internet service providers. And they executed their strategy extremely well. Meanwhile, 3Com struggled with strategic direction. The company tried to operate in multiple markets at once: consumer internet modems, corporate networking equipment, emerging internet technologies. Instead of dominating a single category, their focus became spread too thin. And in fast-moving tech industries, lack of focus can be dangerous. Strategic missteps. In the late 1990s, 3Com made a decision that would later be seen as controversial. They spun off a company called Palm Inc. Palm produced handheld digital assistants, small devices that helped people manage contacts, calendars, and notes. The Palm Pilot quickly became a huge success. In fact, Palm briefly became one of the most valuable tech companies in the world. But the success of Palm didn't help 3Com much. Instead of strengthening their core networking business, the spin-off added confusion about the company's long-term strategy. Meanwhile, Cisco continued expanding and capturing a larger share of the networking market. The dot-com crash. The early 2000s brought another challenge: the dot-com crash. When the internet bubble burst around 2000, many technology companies faced massive financial pressure. Demand for networking equipment slowed dramatically. 3Com struggled to maintain growth. At the same time, Cisco had already established itself as the dominant networking powerhouse. Other competitors were also entering the market, including companies offering cheaper networking hardware. 3Com found itself stuck in the middle. Not the biggest enterprise provider, not the cheapest consumer brand, not the fastest innovator. The company began losing relevance. The final chapter. Throughout the 2000s, 3Com attempted to restructure and refocus. They shifted their strategy toward enterprise networking again. They also formed partnerships with companies in Asia to remain competitive. But by this point, the networking industry had already consolidated. Cisco dominated much of the high-end market. Other manufacturers were competing aggressively on price. 3Com simply couldn't regain its former position. In 2010, the company was acquired by Hewlett-Packard for about $2.7 billion. After the acquisition, the 3Com brand gradually disappeared. The company that helped build the foundation of computer networking was absorbed into a much larger corporation. Why 3Com fell behind? 3Com didn't disappear because it lacked innovation. In fact, the company helped pioneer some of the most important networking technologies in history. But several factors contributed to its decline. 1. Strategic confusion. The company tried to compete in too many markets at once. 2. Stronger competitors. Cisco executed a clearer and more focused strategy in networking infrastructure. 3. Market consolidation. As networking matured, larger players dominated key segments. 4. The dot-com crash. Economic shocks slowed growth and forced restructuring. Even companies that help build industries aren't guaranteed to dominate them forever. 3Com played a major role in shaping the modern internet. Their networking cards helped connect early personal computers. Their technology powered corporate networks, and their innovations helped bring millions of people online. But technology moves fast. New competitors emerge, strategies change, and even pioneers can fade from the spotlight. Today, most people have never heard of 3Com, yet the networks we use every day, from office systems to the global internet, still rely on technologies the company helped pioneer decades ago. 3Com may not be a household name anymore, but its legacy lives on in every connected computer in the world.